Hey everybody, my name's Michael and this is my physical PlayStation 5 collection. So in no particular order, I'll begin with a couple of recent pickups, and it is this one right here, which is Astrobot. So Astrobot was a spectacular game from beginning to the end. It's one of the few games that I've actually platinumed, but I would highly recommend you pick this up. This is absolutely for adults or for children, and just a great title all the way around. And it's right now, it's even in my PlayStation 5 because there was some brand new downloadable content that just came out today, and they're actually giving downloadable content for the next couple of weeks for free. So you can't beat that. The next title that I have here is the Silent Hill 2 remake by Konami. I also have beat this game just recently as of yesterday, and this game was spectacular. If you enjoyed the Resident Evil 4 remake, then you are absolutely going to love this Silent Hill 2 remake. Obviously, they're a bit different games, but this is a game that I would recommend. I believe for me, it took me about 20 hours, I'm wanting to say, to beat the main story, but that's because I was also trying to pop a few trophies and things of that nature. A great game that I would recommend. And then I have this one right here, which is FC24. And I only bought this because somebody had it for, I think, $10. And it was a while back. I have not played this game, mainly because I just don't play a lot of sports titles outside of Madden, which is pretty much the only sports game that I play. So that one has just been sitting dormant for a little while. Next up, I got this game called Outriders, and it is a day one edition. This one on the back, I can tell that I picked this up, from GameStop at some point. I never played the game, and I don't even recall opening this until like right now. Obviously, I opened it at some point, but yep, I've never played the game. The next game that I have is one that I absolutely highly recommend, and it is RoboCop Rogue City. This game has all kinds of action-paced, first-person shooter perspective, and there's all kinds of cool things you can do, like upgrade your weapons, and there's like a skill point type of thing where you can unlock the pistol to be automatic firing. So a very, very, very fun game that I would recommend. And this is one of the games that I did actually platinum. So a lot of fun there. Next up, I also have another remake, and this remake is Dead Space. Now, believe it or not, I have not played this one yet. I bought this used somewhere for I think about $20, so I got a really good price on it. And right now, I haven't played it, but that's probably going to be up next, actually, for me, is playing some of the Dead Space game. And then I have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and this one is only purchased because I wanted to play through the single player campaign. I know this game is kind of for multiplayer related folks, but I really didn't want to play it multiplayer, but I always liked their campaigns. Now that I've beat it, I absolutely don't like how all of the updates have been, where it's now just hard to get the single player campaigns. So I'm probably going to be getting rid of this one. Then I have Sonic Frontiers. So Sonic Frontier is one that I bought at a garage sale, and I believe I paid $10 for this one. I did play this a bit on the PlayStation 4, but never really got into it. So yeah, let me know down in the comments. Is that a video game that you were able to get into? Did you like that game? And then I have God of War Ragnarok. And yeah, you can see up there at the top, basically I paid $15 for this, and it was a while back. And this is the launch edition of the game. Now, funny enough, I never did beat this game. And so this is the game that I'm going to have to go back to and finish this one up. But yeah, I paid $15 for it. Obviously, this is a top tier game and everybody pretty much recommends it. Then I have Sackboy, and Sackboy was a game that I picked up also at a garage sale, and I'm wanting to say that I paid $10 for it. Now on the back here it did say 20, but I pretty much remember that I had offered them half for this one. I did come pretty far to beating this game, but I never did. And I don't know if I'll ever go back to it or not. But yeah, that is Sackboy. Then I have this game, which is Phobia. And I believe I paid right around $20 for it. And this is one of those first-person shooter kind of like horror games. Now it's rated mature 17 plus, and on the back here I was just reading some of the things that it comes with. But yeah, I never did play this one. I know that I installed it, but I never got around to playing it. And so yeah, at some point I will probably come back to this. Then I have Spider-Man Miles Morales. This is a game that I also have never played. I know that sounds funny because it's a Spider-Man game, but I remember purchasing this, and just there was a bunch of other titles that were currently out, and I never got around to playing this game right here. But I have played the second one. And then I have The Last of Us Remastered Part 2. And this is an absolutely terrific way to play this game on a PlayStation 5. Now, if you missed it when it came out on the PlayStation 4, which I did, I don't know, for some reason, I just didn't buy it. Now, I had played the first one on PlayStation 3, but I kind of just avoided it on PlayStation 4. And then over on the PlayStation 5, I started to see some of the upgrades and all of the things that they had added to it, and I definitely bought it. The good news for me is that I did find this one used, and since it wasn't brand new, I only paid about $30 for it. Then a game that I also beat and I absolutely enjoy and would recommend that you all checking out is this Alone in the Dark game. Now, I was around when the DOS version of the game came out, way back in the day, and I did play it on DOS, but it was nice to kind of see this kind of full remaster version of it come out. This is a game that I would recommend playing, especially if you like those type of games like Resident Evil and so forth. And then I have Cyberpunk Ultimate Edition, and this comes with the Phantom Liberty downloadable content. And I do remember buying this one used, and that downloadable content was not on there, but I did still have the disc, and the disc comes with the 2.0 plus update of Cyberpunk 2077, and it also came with some of these stickers here. So yep, this is another one of those games. I have not played on the PlayStation 5. I think I installed it a few times on the PlayStation 4, but I haven't gotten around to it. So I'm going to add this one back to the top of my stack with Dead Space. Then I have a game that you probably all already have now at this point, which is Grand Theft Auto 5. This one, I've obviously beaten the story to it, and it's just a great game all the way around. There's not much you can say about Grand Theft Auto 5 that hasn't already been said. And then I have Horizon Forbidden West, and this was a launch edition, which I was always kind of happy when I could find these launch editions. I think they make them a little bit more unique than some of the other stuff. Now, I never did try any of the downloadable codes or the content of it. I have installed this one, played some of it, but I never beat it. And then I have maybe a shuffleware type of game here, and this is the game called Real Farm Premium Edition. So yeah, I don't really know what that is. I know that I did get this in a GameStop deal here and actually have the receipt inside of it, and I paid $5 for this title right here. And obviously I've never installed it, and I don't really plan to unless somebody tells me that it's good. And then I have another classic, and this is Resident Evil. Obviously, this is Village, so RE8. And this one I have beat. Now, I did not beat this one on the PlayStation 5. I believe this one was on the PlayStation 4, but another great game. I'm a huge fan of the Resident Evil series and would recommend that one. Now, another weird game that I got that I actually beat was this one right here called Observer System Redux. And this one was a first-person shooter. It was kind of unique. And I also got this one for extremely cheap. I do have the receipt in this one, and I paid $5 for it. Now, I believe the whole entire game takes a little bit over maybe like 4 hours or 3 hours to beat. But I might actually pull this one back out and put it to the top of my queue since I had so much fun with it the last time. Then I have this game called Marvel Avengers, and I never did play this game. I believe I might have installed it on a PlayStation 4 at some point, but yeah, I never really played this game, and I don't think there was any real reason. I guess it just didn't really strike me as something that I thought would be a whole lot of fun, so I never played it. And then I have this title, which is pretty popular, which is Far Cry 6. I remember this title because my son actually beat this one a while back. And, like, I guess years ago now. I don't know. I don't remember when this came out. But, yeah, this was a game that was kind of crazy. I think there was, like, crocodiles or just there was some stuff in the game that just made it basically a lot different than any other kind of first-person shooters back at that time. So, yeah, it was a good game. I did not beat this one, and I paid a total of $10 for it back in the day. And I think this is, probably dirt cheap today. And it's funny, this is one of those Ubisoft titles, and right now we know that they are in a lot of hot water. Okay, so next up I have System Shock, and this was one of those games that also was kind of a remake from a game that kind of came out in the 90s or so. I believe this was also a DOS-based game, and it is extremely small. I do remember installing it. It was a total of, I think, 4 gigabytes, so a very tiny game, and yeah, I never really played this one, but it could be something that is potentially one of those games that might go up in value because I have not seen a whole lot of people that have been talking about this one when I've watched other gaming kind of pickup channels. Then I have Demon Souls. Demon Souls, another great game. I played this on the PlayStation 3 and picked it up on the PlayStation 5. And then the next game that I have here is Concord. And yes, this version of Concord, or this copy, is a sealed copy. And it was a funny story, but basically I ordered this from Walmart the day that they announced that they were going to cancel it. And all of the stores quit shipping it. And for some reason, my order got through and I got a copy of this. And funny enough, I even got refunded for the $40. So I paid $0 for a sealed copy of Concord. Now, I do believe that that game is going to go up in value with some time. And then the next game that I have right here is Borderlands 3, and this is the Ultimate Edition. Now, this one is also sealed, and this was at a point where they started making reprints of this game. This game was worth quite a bit of money. And when they started making the reprints, that's when I picked this one up. And so this one has just been sitting in my collection because I've got Borderlands 3, right now on pretty much every single console as it goes. And then I have another sealed title here. This is Fortnite Minty Legends Pack. And it does state up there at the top, no download, it says download code only, no disc included. So this game right here, I paid like $5 for it back in the day. This one is worth over, I think, about $25 right now. And as you know, like Fortnite on the PlayStation 4, the physical copy of it is, usually like $100 game disc. So yeah, I'm just going to hold on to this Fortnite and just see kind of what happens with it. Then I have another sealed game here, and this is one that I bought at GameStop when I had a $5 monthly credit, and I just really needed to burn it on something. And so I have this game on the PlayStation 4, which is what I have played it on and beat it on. But I thought it would be nice just to kind of have the PlayStation 5 copy and just keep this one sealed pretty much forever. And then I have this game, which is called Forspoken. And Forspoken is a game that I have not played, but I have heard pretty terrible reviews about it. What was kind of odd to me about it was that this is a Square Enix game. And so I would have expected that, they would have made a pretty good game. Now, it does look pretty interesting because it looks like you can flip around the cover here. So you can use that cover or you can use that one right there. So anyway, that's pretty interesting. I never knew that the cover allowed you to flip it. We have Spider-Man 2. So Spider-Man 2, this is again a launch edition version of it. I have played through a big majority of this one. I haven't beaten it yet, but it's one of those games that pretty much, this sells, PlayStation 5s. PlayStation 5 should come with like God of War or Spider-Man 2 or both of them because I think those are just necessary. And then I got a game that a lot of people, said negative things about, and that was the Callisto Protocol. I've stated quite a bit of times on Twitter that I absolutely liked this game. I know it was by some of the Dead Space people and everything, but this was a great game in my opinion. I enjoyed all of it. So yeah, definitely check this one out if you like those kind of, Dead Space, Resident Evil type of games. And then I have this title, which is in Sound Mind, and it includes a soundtrack and an art book and a few other things with it. And I did not beat this game. I do believe this is a first-person shooter, so pretty interesting. But I might play it at some point in the future. Now, this is actually one of the very first titles that I got for the PlayStation 5, and I'm wanting to say this might be my very first game. And that is Deathloop, and this one says it's the deluxe edition. Now, up here at the top, you can kind of see that it's all busted, and even back here, you can see that that's kind of busted. And that's because I found this at some shop that I was at, and they were selling it for $10 when this game was like a $60 game at the time. The disc was totally fine, just the box was ruined. And so yeah, I bought it and played it back on my very first PlayStation 5. So yeah, it's been some time since then. So next up, what we have here is Scarlet Nexus, and I really don't know anything about this game. It was extremely cheap, and that's the reason that I picked it up. Along with, I picked up this game, which is Immortals Phoenix Rising, I believe on the same exact day. And I don't know anything about this one either. I know they haven't had like super fantastic reviews, but I never really played them. And then the next game that I have here is the Warhammer 40,000 Shooters Beef and Teeth game. This is actually a blast. I never did beat this game, I think for a couple of different reasons. Mainly because it's pretty repetitive, but it probably would be worth going through again. So yeah, I might move this one up to the top of my list here. And I looked at the price here because I did have my receipt inside of it, and I paid a total of $5 for it. So apparently it was cheap, or at least cheap at that time. Obviously, some of these titles go up in value, so where I paid little for them, sometimes they go way up in value. Here is another game that I remember I bought on eBay for some really weird reason, which is Saints Row. This is the newer version, and this is, again, I kind of keep these day one or these kind of launch editions. Bought this, and it has never been in my PlayStation 5, so I don't know much about it. I do know that it had some pretty bad reviews, and so it may be worth taking a look at today. Another game that I don't know anything about, which is Startopia, looks pretty neat, and I bought it for super cheap, and I haven't played it. Now, another cheap game that I bought that I actually have played, and I do believe that I beat this one, which is Curved Space. It's a super, super short game, and it's by these weird kind of publishers, when you look at the back. So yeah, this one was, these are also like really tiny games. These are like literally a couple hundred megabytes. So yeah, they don't need a PlayStation 5. These could basically run on PlayStation 2. So Curved Space is the title there, and I don't know, it'll be interesting to see if some of these go up in value. Now, here is a game that I really enjoyed, and this one right here is Foreclosed. Foreclosed has this kind of comic book feel to it. This is a super short game. I think you can beat the full game in about 3 hours. And I've been thinking about replaying this one again. Apparently, I paid $8 for it, or at least that's what I see on the receipt that is in here. So Foreclosed, totally recommended if you can get it for super cheap. The next one that I have is Madden 23. Madden is pretty much the only sports game that I play, and obviously this one is not worth anything at this point because those lose value quickly. I usually wait till I get those for about 20 US dollars. The next game that I have here is Panda Hero Remastered. Those of you that watch my PlayStation stuff know that I kind of poked fun at this game, and I even wrote this company at one point asking for copies just to give away to my Twitter community and stuff. They never wrote back, and I never was able to get them to say anything to me. But yeah, Panda Hero Remastered, it's like a super, super easy like platinum. if you are going trophy hunting. And then I have another game that is completely sealed, and this is Sonic Origins Plus. It says that it has 16 classic Sonic games and playable characters here. The main reason that I bought this game was that I did have some credit that was about to expire, and I also knew that this comes with some Game Gear games, which I absolutely love my Game Gear. And so, unfortunately, after looking online, I learned that you had to use the downloadable content code for the Game Gear version of it. And so at that point, I was just kind of like, I'm kind of done with this title then. So I'm just leaving it sealed. It does come with a little book inside of it that has some artwork, but you can find all that from people posting it online. And then I bought at another garage sale this game right here, which was South Park Snow Day. I think on this one, because it was fairly new, I think I might have paid $20 for it. And I think this game today is maybe worth $20, or it might be less than that. But yeah, I don't know why I bought it, mainly because I had played some of the South Park games for the PlayStation 4 and, kind of thought that this would be the same kind of thing. And I don't know, I did play it, but I didn't really get very far into it. And then I have another Madden game right here, Madden 22. This one, obviously, I played the heck out of it when it was brand new. And then I have another title called Chris Tells. And I'm wanting to say this is another one of those titles that I got just to kind of fill out maybe an order or something. Anyway, it comes with a number of different paper and materials and things like that. So you definitely kind of get that, how games used to be, where they came with a bunch of manuals and stuff. Never played the game and don't really plan on doing so. And then I have a couple of different copies here of Ratchet and Clank. Obviously, the main reason that I have 2 copies of this is because one of these has the launch edition or the day 1 edition. And yeah, so what I found was that somebody was selling a launch edition of this, and so I bought it for $20, and then I put my own copy that I already had for $30. I have not sold the non-launch edition of it, but I'm just going to hold out because people will always pay $30 for Ratchet and Clank for the PlayStation 5. And then I have another Call of Duty title here, and this is Call of Duty Cold War. Now, this game, I did just to play the single-player campaign, but it was so confusing with all of the stuff that they forced you to download that I just kind of gave up on this one. I thought multiple times about putting it up for sale for maybe $20 just to get it back out of my collection, and even doing that with the other Call of Duty titles, but they usually do have pretty decent single player experiences. And then I have another title that I paid $5 for, FIFA 23. I never beat that game or played that game. And then I have Returnal. Now, this is a game I did buy really early on in my PlayStation 5 when I first bought it. And this is a very unique game. I was personally frustrated with this game because of the difficulty level. And I do understand you have to just keep playing it over and over and over again. It just felt to me like it was a lot of grinding. And I just didn't want that. This is the reason, why those titles like Astrobot are doing so well. It's just easy to play, easy to pick up. It's fun. You don't have to think a lot about it. But Returnal is a good game if you are willing to grind for it. And then I have Ghost Runner 1. And for this title, I never played it, but I have heard some good things about it. Then I have another sealed game, which is pretty much news to me. And this one is called Rift Breaker. And I truly did not know that I had this game until I started digging out all of my titles for this video here. So I don't think it's worth very much, but yeah, this is just going to be sitting in my PS5 collection for a while. And then I have Balin Wonderworld. And this title is another, Square game. And I never did beat this title. It came with all of the kind of the cool stuff that, most of those, again, old school games comes with. And never played it, but I have heard that it is not that wonderful. And then I have Ghost Runner 2. This one I actually picked up recently and I paid $15 for it. This one is a title that I'm just holding on to. I may come back to it at some point. And then I have this title, which is Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. This one I absolutely did not like. Pretty much everything is under paywalls. So even the characters that's even on the back here, like RoboCop, at least my experience was that you had to pay for that. Now it states this is Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, so I kind of think of this as, an ultimate experience where you get everything or everything is already unlocked, but that at least was not the case when I gave this one a shot. So this is one that I probably will be getting rid of at some point. Then I have another sports title here, which is Madden 24. And this game doesn't need a whole lot of commentary, as it's just another sports title. Now I have this title, which is called Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And this title, I believe I played it on the PlayStation 4, and I haven't played it since then. Okay, so we have another title called Control, and this is Control Ultimate Edition. I also have not played this title, but I think I'm going to move this one to the top of my stack. But this is the Ultimate Edition. Again, I'm trying to kind of keep all of the day one Ultimate Editions and so forth, as in my collection. And then I have this title, which I only got it because it literally was free in a trade, which is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And this title is, it's okay, but they have milked that brand to absolute death, where I believe most of us are completely bored with it. Another title that I picked up at maybe a thrift store somewhere very cheap was WWE 2K22. I did play it, and if you like wrestling, it's a great game. Another one is called Life is Strange, True Colors. And I actually did play a bit of this on the PC, believe it or not. I was trying to kind of get into some kind of these, laid back adventures, and it just came across, one of my feeds. And so I decided to give it a shot, but I have not given this one a shot on the PlayStation 5. Okay, just a few more titles here. We're going to wrap up with a few things, and one of them is going to be an NBA 2K22. Doesn't need much commentary there. Tales of Iron, Crimson Knight Edition, which you can see there's all kinds of crazy editions now. This one, I did play a little bit of it, and I probably will come back to it at some point. I'm wanting to say it was like a mixture of like RPG. Yeah, it's like a RPG kind of action type of thing. And then the very last title that I'll save is one that might be rare at some point, and that is Subnautica Below Zero. Now, you'll hear all kinds of feedback on this game, and most people absolutely love it. It definitely is not something that I got into immediately, but looks like at least others do. So anyway, that is every single PlayStation 5 title that I own right now. So I hope you were able to stick around and listen to all of this. And I hope that you got something out of this or learned something new. Anyways, tell me, what did I have in my collection that is missing? Is there something that I definitely need to put in there? Just let me know. And for the most part, I typically buy games that I think I'm going to play. Anyway, appreciate it. Anyway, so I'll leave you with a few shots of the collection in its full.